Welcome in, guys. Adam here, coming to you from Drumeo.com. I'm one of the regular satellite instructors here, but I'm fortunate enough to be at the Drumeo headquarters recording some lessons for you guys. So thank you all for stopping in. What we're doing today is talking about 7/8, but more importantly, how to turn your own regular grooves into 7/8. So guys, it's really common for you to have a comfort level in 4/4. Let's say it's a certain 16th note groove. Could be something as simple as this. And let's say that you're in the studio or you're with your bandmates and somebody suggests that you play that in 7/8. Well, a huge problem a lot of drummers have is, how do I take the stuff that I'm already good at and comfortable with and modify that into 7/8? So let's start with that exact groove. A regular 16th note hip hop groove. How do we turn that into 7/8? Well, let's look at the numbers 7 and 8. What that's basically telling you is that you're going to be looking at this whole groove in eighth notes and you're only allowed to have 7 of them. Well, what does that tell us about a 16th note groove? The easiest way to do it, double the fraction. 7 over 8 would be moved into 14/16. So in a bar of 16th notes, inside 7/8, you just have 14 notes. So we go to the very end of that beat, and instead of 4E and A, all you have is 4E. With that said, you're just dropping 2 hi-hats out of your original 16th note groove, and now that same 16th note groove is in 7/8. Let's go ahead and give it a shot at 60 and 90 beats per minute. All right, so now that you know how to modify a 16th note groove by basically just removing 2 notes and using 14 notes, well, that's helpful for everything in 16th notes. But what about other subdivisions? What if you have to play a triplet groove like you saw at the intro of this video? Well, the numbers change a little bit, but just remember 7/8. If we have eighth notes and we've lost one of them, well, that tells us a lot about the other subdivisions. So in 16th note triplets, 1/8 note is worth 3 16th note triplets. So if you have that knowledge, what you should do is look at your triplet groove, and if it's in 16th note triplets, you just got to remove 3 of those notes. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did in the last example. We're going to go to the very end and basically shave off the last 3 notes of a standard 16th note triplet shuffle. Let's go ahead and give this one a shot at 60 and 80 beats per minute, because remember, this higher subdivision can be a little bit harder to play at those higher tempos. 60 and 80 beats per minute, let's give it a shot. All right, guys, so my final tip to help you groove a little more freely inside of 7/8 is really based around just a quarter note. But a quarter note in 7/8 is pretty interesting because something happens over 2 measures of music. If you play a quarter note groove in 7/8, you'll notice everything is cool until you get to that very last beat, the downbeat of 4. Well, if you keep everything in 7, that quarter note actually shows up next in the next measure. It switches to the upbeats, like you can see in the notation. So what's really cool is that you've got a quarter note groove that falls on the downbeats, nice and on top of the groove, and then it goes to the upbeats and has a much lighter feel in the second bar, and that resolves itself after 2 bars. So when we go through this example, we're going to have one measure of 7/8 where the quarter notes are super, super tight on the downbeats, and the next one we're going to have a different lighter feel because they'll move to the upbeats. Check it out. You guys will see exactly what I mean in the notation. We're going to try this one at 60 and 90 beats per minute. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you got something out of this lesson. The big thing that I want you to take away from this is not just the tips and tricks. It's really much more about the concept here. Developing freedom is something that takes a little while, and you do need exercises like this to develop that freedom. But my biggest advice for you guys would be to spend time inside these grooves. You got to spend time in an odd time in order to get comfortable with it, just like you spent all that time in 4/4. Hope you guys enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in the next one. If you want to see more content just like this, come on over to Drumeo.com, and I hope to see you guys there. Thanks.